Ben Darnell live from the 157th running of the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga. Our favorite person is here.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Serling.
All right.
NYRA Handicapper and, one of the most talented analysts out there as well, but just a great guy. You can talk about anything.
Our best horse racing friend.
Every time I come to the track, the juice, the walking around, now I can see why Lou Piniella and Pete Rose and guys that I was around a lot were here all the time.
It's just one of those places, if you like it a lot. And I think, it's pouring rain out right now. Fortunately, it's supposed to stop soon. And it just doesn't matter. Everybody's just having fun. It really is. I mean, listen, I love racing. I love Aqueduct. Wherever I am, I'm happy. But you come to Saratoga, you don't get this kind of fans downstate you do here. And you walk outside. It's like I always say to my bosses, if you're ever in your office and you're feeling bad, walk outside. You'll realize, sometimes you get, you're in your office, you hear the negative stories and negative stuff and all the things. And then you walk, it's not like the internet, it's like real life. And in real life, people are actually nice.
Yes.
And they love it here. And, my friend John Angelos, who I was just mentioning to you before, he said once to me about Saratoga.
John hired me at Madison.
John's a big fan. John's a fan.
Tell John I said hello.
I will. Good man.
Love him.
Been a friend for a long time. He said, it's like Fenway, Wrigley, Saratoga, Camden Yards to a certain extent, as well. There's a feeling of ownership by the fans, which at times can be, a little bit
You're
of
looking at a Cubs fan.
Right, but it's a great
Wrigley.
thing because people feel invested in what we're doing, and that's a good thing.
I feel that way now. I think this will be my 10th weekend at Saratoga, and I love being the tour guide now. I love telling people who have never been here but have lived close and have never gone, and like, oh, man, this is what you're missing. And I do feel that sense of ownership. I'm jealous of you. You're a lifer. You used to walk over here when you were a little kid. Give our listeners a taste of that. Like, what were you doing what were the earliest ages of Andy Serling over here in this venue at Saratoga?
I definitely didn't get any girls. I still don't get that many. A few more. I walked in here with my dad the first time he took me here in '74, and I looked around and thought, I'm home, And, from then on as a kid, I would come. I think they opened up at 10 or 11. And I'd come before they opened, and I'd hang out in the employees' cafeteria, so I didn't have to pay. And then I'd watch the movies they'd show and learn about horses. And I just loved the place, and I never left. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. I know that it's corny and people say that, but to have my job, getting paid, making a living, doing what I do, to me, I can't. I'm a kid who wanted to be a fireman growing up, and I grew up and I became a fireman. I love what I do. And meeting guys like you, when we first contacted you, you'd never really been to the races before. And
he is totally
10
flipped.
or 12
I love the races, but I was always,
flipped.
because of Pete, scared to death. And Lou, all right, I'll tell you a quick Lou Piniella story. When we'd go to L.A., he'd go to Santa Anita. And, we need the lineup in by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Lou's walking through the door at 6. And so, these are grown-ass men sitting there going, am I playing tonight? Am I not playing tonight? So now they're like, and they, they're doing a lot of different things. So then he'd walk in and he'd, throw down like a napkin.
With the lineup?
With the lineup.
And that's what he was doing.
Did the napkin say Santa Anita on it?
Probably.
Might have.
Probably.
That was the thing. These guys were always, they needed juice, even when their careers were done. And so for me, I'm like, I got to stay the hell away from there because I'm an addictive person. I smoked for 25 years just because I like smoking. And it's not like I needed it because when I quit, I quit. I never picked up another one.
Well, we were just talking about Jason Worth, who I just ran into, and Jason's all in.
He is all in, man.
I understand when you have a horse like Dornick and you get that kind of success.
But you want to do it again?
He loves it. And it's just, that's great. It's not, once again, nothing is for everybody. But if you catch the bug and you come here, and there's no better place to come than Saratoga because it's the town, it's going to the track in the mornings, it's being in the afternoons, it's going downtown to the restaurants. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say something that I've never said publicly before. I'm going to show you a picture on my phone in my Twitter account. For people that follow me on Twitter, I apologize. There's a picture of a horse on the top of my Twitter account. That horse is stabled at Belmont now, and that horse is named Serling.
Oh, my God.
My friend Chad Brown and Seth Klarman named the horse for me.
No way. That's awesome,
He hasn't run yet.
Okay.
He might suck, but they're hopeful that he's good. He's a 3-year-old now. But it's an honor. It means a lot to me to have that.
Does he know any fillies?
I don't know. I'm hoping he can help me. Phillips, you know?
I think he will.
Once again,
I think he
need all
will.
the help
That's
I can
fantastic.
get.
All right, speaking on this baseball horse racing theme that we've already started and talking about your trainer, man, Chad Brown, I wanted to ask you this coming up here. What does a trainer really do, Andy? Do they really out there every single day with
stopwatch
boots?
and-
I see them dressed like you in suits every weekend at the creme de la creme spots. Are they really training these horses? And I'm thinking maybe it's a little bit like baseball coaches or GMs of a franchise with a minor league system. You know, you don't know when a guy is ready until they're really ready, and that GM has an eye for that kind of talent. They're setting up a program for them to come through, and when they're really ready, they'll see the big guy, Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher, those kind of trainers, to get pushed out to the track. How does it really work with these guys?
Years ago, we did a draw for the Belmont, and we had a really fun Q&A with Todd Pletcher, Wayne Lucas, Dale Romans, and Bob Baffert. And somebody asked, it was before, I think, Justify, it was America Ferro Justify going to Triple Crown. And somebody asked the question, Bob, how will you do things differently tomorrow morning? And Todd said, and Todd is a funny guy, he just doesn't, he's kind of quiet. He said, well, you know, about 4 in the morning, Wayne will show up at the barn. I'll show up around 5:30 or 6. Bob will roll in around 9:30. And Dale, you'll be here around noon. You know?
Yeah.
And it was very funny. It was having fun. But, I mean, it's a commitment. I mean, you cannot be a horse trainer. It's a 24/7. It just never stops. And the other thing is, you know, you show up at the barn every morning concerned, or your phone rings in the middle of the night and you're waiting for something bad to happen because horses are tough. It's tough to keep them sound and keep them racing. I think the difference between the best trainers and the worst trainers, obviously it's getting the right horses and getting there, but it's nuance. It's like anything else. You as a pitcher. There were guys who weren't that far from the talent you had that could never make it in the
There was
the
way more talented guys than me.
Right, and it's just one of those things, and I don't know if it's a feel for the horses. It's understanding the little things. It's where you place them. A lot of it is putting them in the right races. You know, do they want to go long? Do they want to go short? Are they on the turf? Are they on the dirt? You know, knowing spacing, where to run them, knowing the condition book, the races they should be running in, and I think the best ones work backwards. I want to get to this race, and this is more for the good horses. Obviously,
right.
You don't work. You know, the best laid play doesn't work out. But you say, I want to get the Breeders' Cup. How do I get there? And you know, in a perfect world, it works out. It rarely does, but it's a full-time commitment. It's not an easy job. And the thing is, the ones who scrape by, they can work as hard as the guys who are making a real living at this. It's not like, you know, necessarily you do better because you outwork people, but obviously you have to have a commitment and be there. And you're dealing with owners as well, and there's a lot of facets to the game that are tough. And it's also your staff. The best trainers are only that because they have great people working for them. And Chad Brown will tell you that, and anyone will tell you that. Todd Pletcher's had a number of people that work for him that have gone on to good things. Brad Cox will tell you that. You've got to have people that work with you that you not only can trust, but that really know what they're doing. And it's a shared endeavor. You win together and you lose together.
Talking to Andy Serling, NYRA. We're live from Saratoga. It's the Belmont. Tell us about the race. Tell us about these horses, sovereignty, journalism. He asked the question, do they know each other? They've been in some
do
races.
horses know each
I mean,
other, Andy?
Can he look across in the gate right before they open those gates and go like, I hate that horse?
I would like to have a horse that feels that way. They're the toughest ones. I do wonder. I don't know. You know, like the New York bred stakes, right? They've been running against each other all the time. And they look around and go, oh, there he is. So they look around and go, I'm glad he's not here today. Or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Spirit of
they
St.
smell
Louis,
it.
who's one of the best turners in the country for Chad Brown. He's running in the race before the Belmont. He's a New York bred, but he's moved on. He's won a couple of Grade 1s this year, so I think the New York breds are happy not to see him show up in the paddock. I don't know. You know, I don't really know if there's any familiarity. It's probably a smell thing or something.
Right.
They very well might, but that's not my expertise. It's a great race, and, you know, obviously for us, our business is always going to be best if there's a Triple Crown on the line, right? You get the biggest crowds, the most attention. Right. Fox Sports, who's a great partner of ours, you know, you want to have the eyes on Triple Crown. Having said that, as far as not having a Triple Crown, you couldn't get a better Belmont Stakes than this, because you've got the first 3 finishers from the Derby. So you've got sovereignty and journalism squaring off in the rubber match. You've got Baeza, who I like, who's trying to beat the two of them. He's lost twice to journalism, and he hasn't run since the Derby. You've got Hill Road for Chad Brown, trying to take a step forward and show he belongs. Chad thinks he's training great, and he knows it's a Herculean task, but he thinks he's going to run well. And you've also got Rodriguez for Bob Baffert, who didn't run the Derby, but is a speed horse. He'll probably be pressured by Crudo. the faster the pace, it's going to help Sovereignty. But Sovereignty is a horse that really benefited from the Derby because a big field, a ton of speed, deep closer, he could sit back and make the last run. And I think Journalism Baeza had some trouble. He sort of made the last run, but I think Flavien Prat was concerned about moving too soon into a fast pace. And I think as a result, he probably didn't ride him the way he'd like to ride him. And in a smaller field, a different scenario, I think Baeza can be the first mover, Journalism the second mover, Sovereignty and Hill Road the third and fourth movers. So it'll be interesting to see. It's a bit of a chess match. And, you know, the riders are all fabulous, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't know. And I think, for me, in my heart, I'm rooting for Journalism. Because in all this talk about changing the Triple Crown, all that nonsense, they're running in all three races. They ran second in the Derby. They had that incredible win in the Preakness with all that trouble.
Oh, my God.
And now they're back for the Belmont. And I want him to win in a way so say to people, good horses can run 3 times in 5 weeks and show up every time. So in my heart, I'm kind of rooting for him. Financially, I'm rooting for Baeza. Personally, a little bit for Hill Road because Chad's my buddy.
All right, so Journalism, if he was to win this, a second in the Derby, a win at the Preakness, a win at the Belmont, where does that put him in the landscape of greatest horses? Obviously behind the 13 Triple Crown winners, but still, is there more to come perhaps for the Travers and Breeders' Cup? But where in your mind you've seen them all, like Journalism fit in that conversation?
This is a well above average group. They're not Spectacular Bid. They're not Affirmed Denali Dar. They're not Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. But this is a very strong group of horses. I mean, listen, you know this stuff. My job is to try to make things exciting. There are days where I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? These horses suck, and you're acting like they're good horses. And I don't have to lie for this race because these are really good horses. You know.
Hold on, we got to listen to it.
Oh, no, don't worry about
No
this.
scratches.
I
Okay.
was afraid of taking a race off the turf. They're not. You want to see them run. Hopefully they run as 4-year-olds. I mean, one of the reasons we haven't had as many great horses is so many retire after their 3-year-old seasons, and they don't mature until they're 4 or 5. So how American Pharaoh, who knows how good he could have been if he ran as a 4-year-old. So I'm hoping that a couple of these stick around, 2 or 3 of them. This year, Fierceness coming back, Sierra Leone coming back, so many good horses back makes for better races, and you want good horses in the best races. You don't want to leave and go, well, I did a lot of promoting there, but I was kind of lying. They're just sort of average good horses, you know. But you do. I mean, it is what it is, you know. I mean, you understand, and so I think these are very good horses, but they're just starting out, and I'm hoping they have long careers, and we get to say in a year and a half, man, Journalism is one of the greats, you know. Sovereignty, Baeza, you know, you want to have the opportunity to see it, but you'd want to see it on the racetrack.
Talking to Andy Serling from NYRA. All right, so I'm looking at how they're spread out in Sovereignty and Journalism. I think Sovereignty's in the 2-hole, Journalism's in the 7. Did they drawing?
Yeah. We had.
It's
the draw
not like a couple of people go, hey, we better separate these two.
No.
Okay.
No, they don't. It's
no
all luck of the draw.
conspiracy theories, nothing
No,
like that?
no, there's
no frozen
the
envelope?
No, but
now
another
traders
part of
will
that.
tell you. I always get the outside post. I always get stuck on the
Yeah,
rail.
That
you know?
wasn't really
They're
the
screwing
question
me.
I was going to ask. Since there's not 20 horses and there's only 8, does that really matter where they start?
No, that's
Okay.
a good question. This race will start around here, the 8th pole. So you've got about 3/16 of a mile before you hit the turn. So there's plenty of time to sort yourself out, get your position, not worry about being too wide in the first turn. So post position is relatively meaningless. Speed horse, and you want to be outside of other speeds because you want to be able to break and see where they are and adapt to where they are. Whereas if you're inside, you know, sometimes you draw the rail with a good horse and you may not want to go to the lead, but if you don't go to the lead, you get shuffled out of the race, so the rider needs to be more aggressive. In a race like this, it's not that consequential. If there were 2 big speeds in this race, and you would want to be the one that drew outside the other one because you could stalk. I think you'd rather be outside than sort of encumbered by the horse that's outside of you. So post position can matter, but in this race and in this situation, it's pretty irrelevant.
I really appreciate you letting me peek at the notes. I just love how your brain works and see what you do.
Well, it doesn't work.
I'm confident that I'm somewhat following the Andy Serling 101 on how to handicap some horse races. I do some different pens as well, but I like your technique. When it starts to rain and you get an element like that, bad weather, do you scrap everything or do you have notes for bad weather and sloppy track?
I think you want to think about it a bit, but the truth of most horses run on anything. There are going to be some horses that may not really like the wet. It might end up helping some speed. In that case, horses don't like getting the mud kicked in their faces,
Right.
so it might be better to be towards the front.
I think most humans don't either.
I definitely don't like it.
I don't either.
Scurry somewhere outside without getting wet. I think that there are occasionally horses that really get better in a wet track, but they're few and far between. I will say in turf it can matter, because there are some horses that really can't handle a deep, boggier course. Now, I don't think this course, even though we've got a bunch of rain, is going to be that bad, because the course was very firm and pretty pristine. We hadn't run on it since September. But it's interesting because probably one of the biggest favorites running on today's card is a very, very good horse in the 12th race named She Feels Pretty. And she's way the horse to beat. And she's really one of the better horses in the country. But the horse on the rail, forever after all, ran her last race on a boggy turf course, a very deep, wet course, and she won by 9 lengths and ran far and away the best race she ever ran. So I wonder a little bit if maybe she's a horse that'll move up on a boggy course. So I'm going to use her as a backup forever after all, because she may be one that really appreciates the soft going. But for the most part, when I pick them and bet them, I pray.
All right, so my final question, because I know you're very busy today.
Not too busy for you guys. Never.
Watching the 2-year-olds, are you looking forward to who's possibly going to be running in the Kentucky Derby next year?
I think you're always, one of the great things about Saratoga in the summer and on, is so many 2-year-olds come out. And I saw Winning Colors, a filly who beat the boys to win the Derby. I've seen so many good ones break their maidens first time out. It's exciting. I mean, there's nothing like, and sometimes you see a race in the horse, Sovereignty. Sovereignty debuted on the Travers card last year and ran 4th. And a good friend of mine is friends with the connections with Godolphin and Dan Pride, who is in charge of Godolphin in America. And he said they're so excited by him. That's their Derby horse. I remember him telling my friend Pete and saying, not saying he's going to win, but this is the horse they really like. And he'd run 4th. And sometimes, there's nothing better than seeing a horse that doesn't win. Runs 4th, 5th, but you watch and you see something in the race.
Right.
And not only you want to bet the next time, but also you see that horse before everybody else. I mean, it's always, one of the great things about racing is you have an opportunity to be smarter than the other people, right? So, yes, you bet your money, you get rewarded, but I hit a pick 6 on Travers Day in 1993, paid $141,000. Me and a friend were the only winner. We had the only ticket. And, you're leaving the track, it's Travers Day, and you're looking down the escalator at all the people, and you're thinking, I got a little his.
That's fantastic.
It doesn't suck,
No, absolutely.
And that's the game, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone can find a short price favorite. But you're trying to be smarter. It's a pari-mutuel betting. The odds are based on the money being bet. So you can only win if you're a little smarter than other people are. And it's that kind of game. And I think we all like that opportunity. Most of the time, I'm dumber than everybody else. But occasionally, I have my moments.
You got horses on top of your head for tomorrow that are not in the Belmont that you want to bet money on, that
got to go to his bag.
I'm pretty sure we talked Fierceness going to be in the
I
house.
am betting against Fierceness. He's running the Met Mile, and he is the horse to beat, and without question, one of the very, very best horses in racing.
Right.
But I like a horse named Raging Torrent to wire the field. That's my my sort of upside. I got so many PPs near my head is spinning. Here's the Fierceness. That's okay.
Oh, you're the man.
I kind of like Raging Torrent. I think he can upset him. I like a horse named My Boy Prince in the Jaipur. I'm interested in a long shot for Todd Pletcher named Gate to Wire in the King's Bishop. The Woody Stevens, being run a couple races before. I like Integration in the Manhattan, which is the race before the Belmont.
Yep.
Oh, I got lots of opinions. Hopefully one or two of them will win. And later today in the 13th race, which is one of the best races of the weekend, the Just a Game, I like the 3 Suggesta and the 1 Dynamic Pricing, 2 Chad Brown horses that are both double-digit odds in the morning line.
When do you start tomorrow? When are you on TV?
Tomorrow's a lot. I haven't even looked yet. I think it's around 2:30 till the majority of time until around 7:30. Today I'm on Fox and FS1.
Okay.
We're on Fox for an hour today from 5 to 6, the big Fox, and then FS1 from 6 to 7:30, and I'll be on that broadcast. But it won't be nearly as much fun as being with you guys. I would like to bring you guys on the set, actually.
Oh, we'd love it.
Kick a couple people off and just have the 3 of us there.
It would be a better
That'd
show.
be fun.
Just tell me when they're
love my coworkers.
Tell me when they're going in the bathroom. I'll take care of them. They won't come back.
No, they won't. Yeah.
Andy, you are the best. We love you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for coming
Good
on.
luck